Should you get the iPhone 17 Pro if you have the 13 Pro? I've been using the 17 Pro for a week now and the 13 Pro for over 3 years. There are 4 years between those phones, so let me show you what's actually different and if those changes are good value for your money. Let's start with what you'll notice first. How those phones look and feel. So here we have the iPhone 13 Pro on the right and iPhone 17 Pro on the left. The first thing you'll see is they look very similar from the front. Same basic shape, same screen size, well, almost. The 17 Pro is slightly bigger at 6.3 inches versus 6.1 inches on the 13 Pro. But when you hold them, there are differences. The 17 Pro feels a bit heavier and thicker. Apple went back to aluminum instead of stainless steel on 13 Pro. The biggest change is the back and the sides. The 13 Pro has the matte glass black with a stainless steel frame. The 17 Pro has the unibody design that's supposed to handle heat better. Color-wise, the 13 Pro is in graphite, this dark grey color. The 17 Pro is in deep blue, which looks very nice and premium. The 17 Pro is a bit easier to grip because of the new material, but with a case on, you probably won't notice much difference. So design-wise, they are very similar phones. The 17 Pro is slightly bigger and uses different materials, but the overall look hasn't changed much. Now let's talk about the screens, because this is what you've been looking at every day. Both phones have great displays. The 13 Pro has a 6.1 inch screen, the 17 Pro is 6.3 inches. Both have the same 120Hz refresh rate, so scrolling feels smooth on both. Where you'll notice the difference is brightness. The 17 Pro gets much brighter, up to 3000 nits versus about 1000 nits on the 13 Pro. In direct sunlight there is a big difference, and that's what the real problem was for me. In summer especially, I could barely see anything on the 13 Pro screen when I was outside. But for normal indoor uses, checking messages, browsing, watching videos, honestly, both looks great. Now let's talk about the performance. How fast those phones actually are in daily use. The 17 Pro has a much newer chip that's supposed to be way faster. But here is the thing, for normal daily tasks like opening messages, social media, browsing the web, taking photos, to be honest, I couldn't tell the difference. Both phones feels fast and smooth. Where you might notice the difference is with heavy tasks, like editing videos, playing demanding games, or using multiple apps at the same time. The 17 Pro has that extra RAM and processing power, but for someone like me who uses the phone for normal stuff, the 13 Pro after 3 years still feels plenty fast. No lag, no waiting around. So unless you're doing really intensive work on your phone, the performance difference isn't something you'll notice day to day. The 13 Pro is still a very capable phone for normal use. Here's where things get really interesting, the camera. And this zoom test will show you the biggest difference between those phones. Look at this. The max zoom for 13 Pro is 15x. The 17 Pro goes all the way to 40x zoom. The 17 Pro captures way more details and the image is much cleaner. For normal phones, 1x, 2x, 3x zoom, honestly, both cameras take great pictures. Hard to pick a winner. For selfies, the 17 Pro has an 18 megapixel front camera versus 12 megapixel on the 13 Pro. The angle seems wider too, so you can fit more in the frame. There are a few other changes worth mentioning that might affect your daily use. The biggest practical change is the new USB Type-C. The 13 Pro still uses Lightning, but the 17 Pro switched to USB Type-C. This means you can use the same cable for your laptop, iPad and phone. And here in Europe, where most modern phones use USB Type-C, it's much easier to find a cable when you need one. Charging is way faster on 70 Pro. It can charge up to 50% in about 20 minutes with the right charger. The 70 Pro has also better heat management with the new aluminum design, so it should stay cooler during heavy use. One feature that is really useful is the always-on display on 70 Pro. The 13 Pro doesn't have this feature. It came with iPhone 14 Pro. With the 17 Pro, you can see the time, date and notifications, even when the screen is locked, without having to tap it. But they adapt to a more practical everyday experience, especially the USB Type-C switch and always-on display. So after a week of comparing those phones, should you upgrade from iPhone 13 Pro to iPhone 17 Pro? For me, the answer is yes, and here is why. First, the USB Type-C makes a real difference in daily life. Here in Europe, it's so much easier to find cables and I can use the same charger for all my devices. The brighter display was actually a bigger update than I expected. I struggle a lot with 13 Pro in the summer sun and the 17 Pro fixes that completely. The cameras are clearly better, especially if you use the zoom a lot. That 14x zoom versus the 15x, it's a real difference when you need it. Then there is the always-on display. Being able to see notifications and time without picking up the phone is really convenient. And something that I did not mention before is that the 70 Pro has the new Apple's new N1 chip that brings the Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6. That's basically a way better connectivity. Technically, that improves the hotspot and AirDrop performance, making wireless connections more reliable. Plus, 4 years, it's a good time to do the upgrade. Some people don't like the new aluminum design, but I actually love it. It's finally something different from iPhone 11 to 16 Pro. They all look basically the same. So the 70 Pro feels more fresh and modern, with real improvement that matters in daily use. Let me know in the comments if you're planning to upgrade or if you have any other questions about those phones. Till next time, stay safe.